Welcome to Shoreline Learning and Development Video Snapshots. These snapshot videos are designed to complement your normal learning materials. My name is Brent Walker, and the subject for this particular snapshot is the first subject in Part 3 assessment of the TAE. Our subject today is TAEASS301B, Contribute to Assessment. There are 4 elements in Contribute to Assessment. They are: clarify the role and responsibilities in the assessment process, confirm organisational arrangements for evidence gathering, collect evidence in accordance with the assessment plan, record and report the findings. Element 1. Clarify role and responsibilities in the assessment process. We need to look at a number of things to do this. We need to look at the purpose of the assessment, the relevant people involved, the benchmarks for the assessment plan, and we need to consult with a qualified assessor. So firstly, let's have a look at the purpose. Assessment purposes could be: determine if competence has been achieved, determine language, literacy, numeracy needs of a candidate, establish progress towards a qualification, determine training gaps, measure work performance, satisfy licensee and regulatory requirements, and of course there are many more. The relevant people must include a qualified assessor and of course the candidate. They can include other stakeholders like the training manager, or in the case of an RTO, client management, which is the company that is putting their staff through a course. The benchmarks we referred to earlier refers to the criteria against which a candidate or participant is assessed. Benchmarks may be competency standard, unit of competency, or performance or product specifications. An assessment plan must include the purpose and aims of an assessment, the context of the assessment, the relevant benchmarks, and any other relevant information or documentation. Consulting with a qualified assessor, you need to discuss and agree with a qualified assessor the specific responsibilities in gathering evidence and the types of evidence to be gathered. Element 2. Confirm the organisational arrangements for evidence gathering. In this section we look at assessment systems and policies. Their systems and policies, or policies and procedures, are usually organisationally based, and they can address things like legal and ethical requirements. They also cover things such as candidate selection, the purpose of competency-based assessments, assessment records, data management and information management, even recognition of prior learning. So to clarify the nominated assessment tools and methods for collecting this evidence, these relate to the conditions of the assessment, the tasks that the candidate has to perform, whether it's questions or a portfolio or a demonstration, the assessment decision-making rules, what is acceptable, what is enough evidence, and how it applies. In other words, it's the assessment decision-making rules. When we look at confirming the assessment context, this is the environment in which the assessment will be carried out. It's the relationship between units of competency and the candidate's workplace. It's the time period over which assessments take place. Reasonable adjustment basically considers the candidate. You take into account a candidate's language, literacy and numeracy requirements. You might provide personal support services such as a reader, an interpreter, even somebody that can write the answers for them. Or you may use adaptive technology or special equipment. You can use such formats in your assessment materials as Braille or written in their first language, or you may even use a videotape or audio tape. So you're basically making adjustments to ensure the student can cope with what you're doing. The resources required is just things like OH&S and policy and procedures, but you may need resources specific to evidence gathering activities. The student will require access to assessors, access to policies and procedures, access to subject and technical experts perhaps, or plant, equipment and technology. So let's have a look at element 3, collect evidence in accordance with the assessment plan. When you're collecting evidence, or you're planning to collect evidence, you need to explain the process to the candidate, including the different responsibilities of the parties involved, and you need to refer any candidate issues or concerns, such as language, literacy, numeracy, to the assessor prior to the candidate undertaking assessment activities. You use assessment instruments to gather evidence within available time and resources, according to organisational, legal and ethical requirements. Assessment instruments can include specific questions or activities, evidence and observation checklists, checklists for the evaluation of work samples, profiles of acceptable performance measures, templates and pro formas. Element 4, record and report. Record and report means you organise and provide evidence to the assessor for analysis according to assessment systems, policies and procedures. You seek feedback from the assessor on whether evidence gathering activities meet the principles of assessment and the rules of evidence. You document areas for improvement in collecting evidence for future assessment activities. Well, I hope you found this little snapshot of Contribute to Assessment helpful. You've just been through TAE AAS301B. If you're studying the TAE, your next snapshot video should be TAE AAS401B, Plan Assessment Activities and Processes, and can be found on the YouTube channel shown on this slide. If you have any questions, queries or concerns, please don't hesitate to contact your trainer or your client services manager. We are all at Shoreline Learning and Development here to help you.